What's happening, guys? So we're going to take another look at this pdTools diamond plate. I did try to condition the surface with silicon carbide. If you recall my last video, this surface I felt was very slick and glazed feeling. I took it to, I believe it's 60 grit, flattened the stone out and then tried to texture it, and I basically roughed it up just a little bit, but you really can't tell. You can still see the marks that the silicon carbide left on the plate here. It's not much of a difference, however. So we're just going to go with what it is. I just wanted to do a follow-up video. I was asked if I could compare it, since this is bonded with other metals. I was asked if I could compare it to an old Veneve stone that's also metallic bonded. I can't remember which one is close to this micron rating, if it was the 800 or 400 side. We're going to try it with the 400 side. Shouldn't take much to get them looked at and compared to. We got a little water on here, and of course my mixture of oil, soap, and water. I've used this knife at work quite a bit recently. Still got quite a decent edge, so we'll go ahead and cut that off. So we know when we hit good steel, and you should be able to see that flat edge now. You see how it's reflecting back at us? That lets us know I dulled it out. Just going to keep the same angle, everything the same. Not sure if you can hear that feedback, but the stone feels like it sounds. That is to say, very slick. Reminds me very much of a Spyderco ceramic. I am using the Hogue in Magna Cut steel. It's the Hogue Deca. What I'm going to do is just keep going until I develop a burr. I was told multiple times the way to condition these stones is to use ferric chloride. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that, so it is not an option for me. I just had to go with what I did have, which was silicon carbide. I do have a burr, but I'm going to go a little bit longer just to work this. Make sure I'm getting that base. There we go. Now I've got a healthy burr. So I'm going to switch sides, do the same thing until I develop a burr on this side. And you tend to get a burr on the opposite side much quicker than you did the first side. The reason being is usually you just knock the burr over to the other side. You haven't actually, well, at least in my experience, you don't always get enough work done on the particular side that you do second. So you'll feel the burr going all the way across. However, you'll have ran possibly even less than half the strokes that you did on the other side. So you want to make sure you do the same amount of work, at least an approximation. You know, if you did 10 strokes and you've got a burr already, chances are you haven't done enough work on that side of the knife, unless, you know, you're using a really coarse stone. This stone, on the other hand, is pretty fine. Not very fast. I have knocked the burr over. Again, I'm going to keep going just a little bit longer. Rinse the stone clean, just because I know I haven't done enough work. Angle starting to get off there at the end. Going a little too fast, a little too reckless. Well, I said I had a burr. It's like I fibbed in some spots. Now I've got a healthy burr. I still see a little flaw right here in the tip. Actually, it's in the belly, right in this area. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to work that just a little bit longer until I get that out. As you can see, I'm not just concentrating on that one area. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen the whole bevel, just in case there's something else I may have missed. I think that got it. Alright, so what we're going to do now is burr minimization. Basically go back and forth, side to side, break the burr off. Sure you guys have seen Hap and a few other people recently. To get rid of the burr, they'll joint the edge. That's where they run the knife basically across the stone like I did in the beginning to blunt and dull it. They'll run the knife straight across the stone like this and remove the burr that way. I'm not a fan of doing that. Reason being, once you've cut that off, you then got to go back and forth and recreate the edge all over again because you just cut the apex off. I don't really see the point. I'd rather just do burr minimization and then just drop whatever is left off. But to each his own. If you like to joint the edge and it works for you, by all means keep at it. But me personally, I'm not a fan. of that. Still feel some burr there. I'm going to strop on 1 micron diamond paste, or actually diamond spray. Once again, not my best edge. The bevel don't look half bad. It's actually got some shine to it. It's 201. $2.15. $163. Well, some final thoughts on this diamond plate. It does what it's supposed to do. That is, sharpen steel. As most of you who follow me know, I'm not the biggest fan of diamonds. I just have terrible luck with them. I thought the other night I had figured out, as far as diamond compounds, what my issue was, but it turns out I was incorrect. I got very, very happy though. I got a nice keen edge. I was able to cut through paper towel very, very cleanly, very smoothly. I haven't been able to accomplish that very many times with diamond paste, diamond sprays, or anything diamond really. So I was really stoked, thinking I had finally figured out what my problem was. Turns out it was just a fluke. As far as this plate goes, it does what it's supposed to. It'll sharpen a knife. I'm sure if you spent enough time on it, you could probably get way better results than what I've produced here. All I can tell you is, for me, when I compare this plate to, say, a silicon carbide stone, silicon carbide is going to win every time. I can just get better edges off of those stones. Perhaps it's because I've got more experience with them. I don't know. All I can tell you is when I compare this to silicon carbide, I'll take silicon carbide all day, every day over this. For what it's worth, I've only got one plate. I haven't tried the whole line. I don't know how the other stones behave. They may be better, they may be worse, they may be equal. I can tell you one of the issues Venive had when they were using metal bonded stones like these is as you got into the higher grits, the metal compounds that were bound into the stone started to create stray scratches. So if you were going for a very fine finish, a very high luster mirror polish type finish, those stray scratches would doink it up. It was almost impossible to get a mirror finish. When I discovered the new Venive formula allowed you to polish very well, I got pretty excited about them. That's actually why I continue to use them to this day. It's because they polish so well on any steel. Anyway, guys, I hope that comparison between these two stones, as far as the scratch pattern goes, was helpful. I appreciate you watching. If y'all have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. Y'all have a good one.